Hello and welcome to another video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about soulmates and soul connections. My name is Christian Brito, and I'm here to help you have a transformational type of life. Today, we're going to be diving into the topic of soulmates because many people often think of soulmates as two people that are destined to be together or have this kind of romantic lifetime connection. Oh, I'm looking for my soulmate. I'm looking for my perfect partner. And I think that discussing this topic can be important because there's this misnomer of that's all that soulmates are or can be, and that this connection is just on this physical plane, and it really is a limiting way of viewing soulmates. And so I want to kind of dive in a little bit more into the topic of soulmates and describe what exactly soulmates are. Soulmates, as individuals who are part of the same soul group. So it's a person or a soul, just to kind of dive in a little bit deeper, that shares a deep spiritual bond with oneself. Soulmates can often incarnate together in the same lifetime, across different lifetimes, and they take on different roles in each other's lives. So a soulmate for you in this life might be a partner, in the next life might be a family member, in the next life might be a close friend, and in the next life you might incarnate without that person because your mission is to not be with that person in that life. And so the purpose of soulmates is that they're meant to provide growth and learning opportunities for both individuals as you guys work through challenges and lessons on a soul level together. So you're planning out, okay, I'm going to meet this person that I recognize their soul. Obviously, because we're in the same soul group, we share a deep spiritual bond. We're connected. We have this cord of connection, and we can meet briefly in this life, or we can spend a lifetime together. But the point is that we are supposed to work through challenges and lessons together on a spiritual level. And so we come to this earth together to work through those things. And so I kind of want to hammer in that point that soulmates are not necessarily, they can be, not necessarily romantic partners. They're people with whom we share a deep spiritual connection. There's a spiritual cord that links our souls together. It's not limited by time, not limited by space. They can have different roles in our lives. So I want to kind of get into these characteristics a little bit so we can recognize who might be my soulmate. And it's not necessarily that you're limited to one. Very often we have one primary soulmate, but there are different members of our primary soul group, people that we do incarnate with often. All right. So those might be, like I mentioned, family members, friends, partners, people that we're close to in different relationships. So one of the key characteristics of soulmates is when you meet them, there's this feeling of familiarity, recognition. When you first meet them, there's often this sense right off the start of this instant connection, an understanding, as if they've known each other for a long time. And that makes sense when you see it from the grander scheme of things. And this feeling can be intense and overwhelming, but it's also a sign that you've met someone who's deeply connected to your soul. And that feeling is, boom, right off the bat. Oh, wow. Hi, I recognize you. You look into that person's eyes and something feels a little different about them, like you know them. Another recognizable fact about soulmates is that there's this concept of unconditional love with this person. Soulmates are often able to just accept and love each other for who they truly are. No judgment, no expectations. You can see each other's strengths, see each other's weaknesses. You're willing to support and encourage each other through all of life's ups and downs. Soulmates can sometimes have a sense of telepathy or spiritual communication with each other, even when they're not physically together. They may be able to sense each other's thoughts or emotions and may even have shared dreams or experiences. As I mentioned, soulmates aren't always romantic in nature, and many people do find their soulmates in romantic partners, but friends, family members, pets, any relationship that feels deeply connected and spiritually significant can be a soulmate relationship. I want you to remember that not everyone has a soulmate in this particular lifetime. It could be something that happens in the next. Soulmates are not a requirement for a fulfilling life, and they're not a requirement for accomplishing the things that your soul needs to do in this lifetime. Everyone's spiritual journey is unique. Those that do have soulmates understand that these relationships can provide a deep sense of purpose and meaning. However, I want you to remember that a soulmate is not meant to be something that completes you. It can be a life-changing experience. You can have that deep connection, but understand that you are meant to serve your own purpose, not to complete someone else's. Okay? We are meant to complement each other, not to complete each other. I want to dive a little bit into, because I know there's going to be questions also about twin flames. And so I'm kind of going to revert a little bit to the teachings of Dr. Michael Newton, as he also explored the idea of twin flames when discussing soul groups and soulmates. And for this definition, it varies a little bit depending on your beliefs, but twin flames are two halves of the same soul. And for some, this might be simply a higher level of soulmate connection. For others, it's a different definition entirely, but two halves of the same soul. And when those people come together in a union in the physical realm, this can be a profound spiritual experience. Very often, it's something that can ignite a spiritual awakening. And so, just want to touch on that point a little bit. Those relationships are not always easy. They can be intense and challenging, since they are specifically meant for a spiritual evolution, and something usually strong, profound is what comes out of those. Soulmates, as I mentioned, are individuals who share a deep spiritual bond and are part of the same soul group. But I want you to remember that this is something that happens over many lifetimes, taking on different roles in each other's lives and experiencing that familiarity and recognition across many of them. In the afterlife, this is where we come together and can plan the next time around and interact with each other and see what went well, what didn't go well in our experience and our evolution in our physical realm, right? So what did we learn? What didn't we learn when we were here, when we were incarnated? And what do we need to learn for the next time around? If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. I hope this video was a clear explanation on just a little bit of an overview on what are soulmates and some facts about them and what that experience will mean for you. As always, if you aren't following already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay blessed.